Hello, Vandarling viewers. It's Jen here at Check Her Joy. This time I'm reviewing One Day in December by Josie Silver. This is a British contemporary chick lit novel, so it's a contemporary romance. And it follows Laurie and Jack, who are two narrators. And one day in December, they have a chance sighting, I guess, as Laurie is on her way home from work on the bus, and she looks out the window and she sees Jack, and she has no clue who this guy is, only that he's absolutely gorgeous, and he meets her eye too. And they have this moment where like time freezes and nothing else exists except the two of them. But Laurie's on a bus and it keeps going, and Jack misses his chance to get on the bus, and they don't actually meet. But Laurie spends the next year obsessing about this guy that she saw, that she is sure is her soulmate and her destiny. And she brings her roommate Sarah into this, and they're trying to find the guy. And eventually we get to a point a year later, the following Christmas, when Sarah brings home her new boyfriend, the guy that she is absolutely in love with and is certain that she is going to marry. And it turns out that it is bus guy. It is Jack. And we also find out through Jack's narrations that he's been thinking a lot about this mysterious girl he saw on the bus, who turns out to be Laurie. And they both independently make the decision that even though they've recognized the other person and have an attraction to them, they're not going to say anything because they don't want to ruin their relationships with Sarah. And so we have this really interesting dynamic developing between these three main characters. Sarah has no clue what's going on whatsoever, and Laurie and Jack aren't talking about it, but it's awkward and it's hanging there, and they're like, I am gonna put distance. So, like, Jack and Laurie start off purposely trying to stay apart, but the longer the relationship between Jack and Sarah goes on, like, the more they end up having to be together, because otherwise it's really awkward if you never see your roommate's significant other. So they do eventually becoming really, really good friends. But there's also this undercurrent that, yes, they are both attracted to each other and like each other. And actually finding out more about the other person doesn't actually help. As they find out more details and they become more like a solid person, that the attraction is maybe not just physical. And so we're following these two main characters over the course of a 10-year period where all kinds of life events happen. They each have their own careers and things that they're trying to do. Sarah definitely wants to be a television news reporter, and Laurie is trying to get into publishing. She wants to be a writer, and Jack wants to be a radio DJ. And so we see each of them pursuing their different career paths, and sometimes those don't turn out as planned either. We have relationships with other characters, with coworkers, with other people that they meet. It's not a huge surprise that Josie starts looking for other people to date when Jack is clearly taken and happy with Sarah. But over the course of time, their relationships get complicated. Dating is hard, thinking about getting married or having babies in the future. We also have the family relationships, especially looking at Laurie's family, as her parents, like, she is somebody who is super close to her parents, but they are physically far away, and so that's a hard relationship to maintain. And then her brother is also living in the same town and works in the same family-owned company, and he's married, and he and his wife have a baby at some point, and so she feels this longing to be closer to her family, but also she wants to be in London where everything is exciting and she can progress her career, and where Sarah and Jack are. So over the course of 10 years, not everything goes according to plan. Not everything turns out the way the main characters expect. Some major curveballs get thrown their way, and they have to sort it out, deal with it, survive, figure out what's next, what do they want. But throughout the story, there is this undercurrent of also Jack and Laurie having these feelings for each other that they can't act on for one reason or another at different points in the story. I found this book really adorable and interesting, but there are also moments in this book that just like absolutely tore my heart out, and like crushed it, and moments of absolute grief, and things that were kind of harder to read. but I still think the relationship and the story itself is mostly adorable and cute, but also is dealing with actual real life. So it's not just this fantasy world where they see each other and then they fall in love and everything's perfect right away. Like they have to work at it, and sort out their relationships and who they are and what they want out of life. The book itself is quasi clean-ish, sort of. There's definitely language in here. There's definitely some swearing and some stronger words for body parts than I would probably use on my YouTube channel that get bandied about in here. So if you were looking for an absolutely clean read, this is not it. There's also, the characters are having sex, and there's a couple of scenes where we kind of get into stuff that's a little creepy. For my taste on the sex side, like I don't need to see them doing it. But it really didn't go that far, and it's only like briefly. It was like on that line of what I'm comfortable with and not comfortable with. Trigger warnings in this book. There is a character that goes through a bout of like depression, like situational depression happening, and there is definitely grief is a thing that pops up several times, like death and the loss of loved ones, like family members. So that's also something that might be triggering. On the whole, I really loved it. I mostly thought it was cute. I read it really quickly. It was a really quick read also. Like it's almost 400 pages, but I also read it over the course of 2 days while I was also working. So I didn't exactly have 2 days to just sit in a chair and just read straight through. Probably could have finished it in one day if I were really like, this is my day off and this is all I'm doing. Because it's that good. So I gave this book 4 stars. I do highly recommend it. It was fun and romantic and sweet. Let me know if you've read this book. What are your favorite romantic chick lit novels? The title is One Day in December, and it does start off in December, but it also happens over the course of like years, and like we follow them at different points throughout the year. So it's not all Christmas every year. So it'll be like New Year's resolutions that Laurie. So like the setup is basically New Year's resolutions that Laurie has. Like the very first one is find busboy. And then the year after that, it's, oh, I found busboy, but I can't have him, so now I need to get over busboy. And then each year her resolutions change slightly depending on what's happening. And then there are like check-in points where it's like, here's something that happened in January. Here's something that happened in April. Here's what happened over the summer in June. Here's October. And then we're back to December again, as we see their lives progress in different events. Even though it's got December in the title and it looks kind of Christmassy, it's not strictly a Christmas story. Like I would totally, reading this in February was fine, and I think it's appropriate for all year round too. Don't let the title lead you to thinking you only have to read this in December and Christmas, because that's totally not true. There's definitely moments in here that are like very Valentine's and very I'm in the summer and enjoying my vacation moments. That's the beauty of it being over the course of such a long time in their lives, is that everything happens. Peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Bye.